The Aramaic and Palestinian Targum. Numbers chapter 21. And Amalek, who had dwelt in the south, and changed, and came and reigned in Arad, heard that the soul of Aaron was at rest, that the pillar of the cloud, which for his sake had led the people of the house of Israel, had been taken up, and that Israel was coming by the way of the explorers to the place where they had rebelled against the Lord of the world. For when the explorers had returned, the children of Israel abode in Rechem, but afterward returned from Rechem to Montserrat, in 6 encampments during 40 years. When they journeyed from Montserrat and returned to Rechem by the way of the explorers, and came unto Mount Umanim, where Aaron died. And behold, he came and arrayed battle against Israel, and captured some of them with a great captivity. Jerusalem. And when the Canaanite king Arad, who dwelt in the south, heard that Aaron was dead, that holy man, on account of whose merit the cloud of glory had protected Israel, that the pillar of the cloud had been taken up, and that the prophetess Miriam was dead, on whose account the well had flowed, but had since been hidden. He answered and said, Ye servants of war, come, and let us set battle in line against Israel, for we shall find the way by which the explorers came up. Therefore they set battle in line against Israel, and carried away some of them with a great captivity. And Israel vowed a vow before the Lord, and said, If thou wilt indeed deliver this people into my hand, I will destroy their cities. And the Lord heard Israel's prayer, and delivered up the Canaanites, and he destroyed them and their cities. And he called the name of the place Hormah. And they journeyed from Mount Umanim by the way of the sea of Zuph, that they might compass the land of Edom. And the soul of the people was wearied in the way, and the people thought wickedly in their heart, and talked against the word of the Lord, and contended with Moshe, saying, Why didst thou bring us up from Mizraim to die in the wilderness? For there is neither bread nor water, and the soul is weary of manna, the light food. And the Beth Kol fell from the high heaven, and thus spake, Come, all men, and see all the benefits which I have done to the people whom I brought up free out of Mizraim. I made manna come down for them from heaven, yet now turn they and murmur against me. Yet behold, the serpent whom, in the days of the beginning of the world, I doomed to have dust for his food, hath not murmured against me. But my people are murmuring about their food. Now shall the servants who have not complained of their food come and bite the people who complain. Therefore did the word of the Lord send the basilic serpents, and they bit the people, and a great multitude of the people of Israel died. Jerusalem text. The Beth Kol came forth from the midst of the earth, and a voice was heard from the heights, See, all men, and listen and hear, all ye children of flesh. The serpent, whom I cursed at the beginning, and said to him, Thus shall be thy food, hath not complained about his food, I led forth my people from Mizraim free, and caused the manna to descend for them from heaven. I made the quails to come over to them, and the well to spring up from the deep. Yet now they again complain before me on account of the manna, saying, Our soul is aggrieved by this light bread. Therefore shall the serpent, who hath not complained of his food, come and bite this people who have murmured about their food. So the word of the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, and a great multitude of Israel died. And the people came to Moshe and said, We have sinned in thinking and speaking against the glory of the Lord's Shekinah, and in contending with thee. Pray before the Lord to remove the plague of serpents from us. And Moshe prayed for the people. And the Lord said to Moshe, Make thee a serpent of brass, and set it upon a place aloof. And it shall be that when a serpent hath bitten anyone, if he behold it, then shall he live, if his heart be directed to the name of the word of the Lord. And Moshe made a serpent of brass, and set it upon a place aloof. And it was, when a serpent had bitten a man, and the serpent of brass was gazed at, and his heart was intent upon the name of the word of the Lord, he lived. Jerusalem. And Moshe made a serpent of brass, and set it upon a high place. And it was that when anyone had been bitten by a serpent, and his face was lifted up in prayer unto his Father who is in heaven, and he looked upon the brazen serpent, he lived. And the children of Israel journeyed from thence, and pitched in Oboth. And they journeyed from Oboth, and encamped in the plain of Megiddo, in a desert place which looked towards Moab from the rising of the sun. Thence they journeyed and encamped in a valley abounding in reeds, osiers, and mandrakes. And they journeyed from thence, and encamped beyond the Arnon, in a passage of the desert that stretched from the coast of the Amorah, for Ammon is the border of Moab, situate between Moab and Amorah, and therein dwelt a priesthood of the worshippers of idols. Therefore it is said in the book of the law, where are recorded the wars of the Lord, Eth and Heb, that's a capital ETH, and Heb, who had been smitten with the blast of the leprosy, and had banished beyond the confine of the camp, made known to Israel that Edom and Moab were concealed among the mountains in ambush to destroy the people of the house of the Lord. But the Lord of the world made a sign to the mountains, which pressed one to another, so that they died, and their blood flowed through a valley on the brink of Arnon, or a valley adjoining Arnon. And the effusion of the streams of their blood flowed to the habitations of Lechiath, which were, however, delivered from this destruction, because they had not been in their councils, and behold, it was unto the confine of Moab. And from thence was given to them, the Israelites, the living well, the well concerning which the Lord said to Moshe, Assemble the people and give them water. Then, behold, Israel sang the thanksgiving of the song at the time that the well, which had been hidden, was restored to them through the merit of Miriam. Spring up, O well, spring up, O well, sang they to it, and it sprang up, and the well which the fathers of the world, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, digged. The princes who were of old digged it, and the chiefs of the people, Moshe and Aaron, and the scribes of Israel, found it with their rods, and from the desert it was given to them for a gift. Jerusalem. Therefore it is said in the book of the law of the Lord, which is likened to a book of wars, the miracles and mighty acts which the Lord wrought for his people, the sons of Israel, when they stood by the Red Sea. So did he with them when they were at the fords of the vale of Arnona, when the children of Israel were passing through the vale of Arnona. The Moabites were hidden in the caverns in the valley, saying, when the Bnei Israel are coming through, we will go forth to prevent them, we will slay them. But the Lord of all the world, the Lord, who knew what was in their hearts, for before him that which is within the reins is manifest. The Lord signed to the mountains, and the heads here and there were brought together, and the chiefs of the mighty ones were crushed, and the valleys were overflowed with the blood of the slain. But Israel walked above upon the top of the hills, and knew not the miracle and mighty act which the Lord was doing for them in the valley of Arnon. But Lachiath, the city, which took no part in their counsel, was delivered from them. And behold, it is by the confines of the Moabites. Behold, they sang Israel this song of praise. Spring up, O well, they sang to it, and it sprang up, the well which Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the princes of the world, at the beginning did see, the sages of the world, the Sanhedrin, the 70 wise men who were appointed by the name, beheld it. Moshe and Aaron, the scribes of Israel, found it with their rods, and from the desert it was given to them as a gift. And from thence it was given to them in Matana. Turning, it went up with them to the high mountains, and from the high mountains it went down with them to the hills, surrounding all the camp of Israel, and giving them drink, every one at the door of his tent. And from the high mountains it descended with them to the lower hills, but was hidden from them on the borders of Moab, at the summit of the hill, looking towards Beth-Jeshimon, because there they neglected the words of the Lord. Jerusalem. And from thence the well was given to them at Matana. Turning, it became strong, overflowing streams, and again it ascended to the top of the mountains, and went down with them to the ancient valleys. But the well was hidden from them when on the borders of Moab, on the head of the height which overlooked towards Beth-Jeshimon. And then sent Israel messengers to Sihon, the king of the Amorites, saying, I would pass through thy country. We will not carry off the betrothed, or seduce the virgins, nor have to do with the wives and men. By the highway of the King, who is in the heavens, we will go, until we have passed through thy border. But Sihon would not permit Israel to pass through his limit, but constrained all his people, and came out to Jahaz, and made war against Israel. And Israel smote him with the anathema of the Lord, and that he would destroy him with the edge of the sword, as he took possession of his country from Arnon until the Jabbok, unto the border of the children of Ammon, because Rabbath, which is the limit of the children of Ammon, was strong, and so far was their boundary. And Israel took all those cities, and dwelt in all the cities of the Amorites, in Heshbon, and in all her villages. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, king of the Amorites. For he had before time made war with the king of Moab, and had taken all his country from his hand unto the Arnon. Therefore say the young men, or the chosen ones, using proverbs, the righteous who rule their passions, say, Come, let us reckon Heshbon, the strength of a good work, by the recompense, and the recompense of an evil work by the strength. For whoso is watchful and diligent in the law is builded up and perfected. For mighty words like fire go forth from the lips of the righteous, the master of such thought, and powerful merit like flames from those who are read and devoted in the law. Their fire devoureth the foe and the adversary, who are reckoned before them as the worshippers of the idol altars in the valley of Arnona. Woe to you, ye haters of the just! Ye have perished, ye people of Chemosh, haters of the words of the law, in whom there is no righteousness, unless he waste you to bring you captive unto the place where they teach the law, and their sons and daughters be removed by captivity of the sword, to be near them who consult in its counsels, the instructors, and those anointed with the law. The wicked have said, in all this there is nothing lofty to the sight, but your numbers shall perish, until the falsehood of your souls be ended, and the Lord of the world destroy them, till their lives have expired, and they have come to nothing, as the cities of the Amorites have perished, and the palaces of their princes, from the great gate of the house of the kingdom to the street of the smiths, which is nigh to Medeba. Jerusalem. Therefore say they who speak in proverbs, Ascend, because the men of their people like fire come out of Heshbon, making war as flames of fire from the city of Sihon. The kings of the Amori are slain, the villages of the Moabite cities are destroyed, and the priests are slaughtered, who sacrifice before the idols of Arnona. Woe to you, O Moab! Ye are consumed, destroyed, O worshippers of the idol of Chemosh. Your sons and daughters, bound by the collar, are carried into captivity of Sihon, king of the Amorites. And the kingdom have ceased from Heshbon, and the ruler from Dibon, and his ways are made desolate unto the smithies which are nigh to Medeba. And Israel, after they had destroyed Sihon, dwelt in the land of the Amorites. And Moshe sent Caleb and Phinehas to examine Makbah. And they subdued the villages and destroyed the Amorites who were there. Then they turned and went by the way of Mathanan, and Og, the king of Mathan, came out to meet us, he and all his people, to give battle at Edrei. And it was, when Moshe saw Og, he trembled before him, stricken with fear. But he soon answered and said, This is Og, the wicked, who tainted Abraham our father. and Sarah, saying, You are like trees planted by the water channels, but bring forth no fruit. Therefore hath the Holy One, blessed be he, spared him to live through generations, that he might see the great multitude of their children, and be delivered into our hands. Then spoke the Lord unto Moshe, Fear him not, for I have delivered him into thy hand, and all his people and country, and thou shalt do to him as thou hast done to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon. Now it was, after Og the wicked had seen the camp of Israel spreading over 6 miles, he said with himself, I will make war against this people, that they may not do to me as they have done to Sihon. So went he and tear up a mountain 6 miles in size, and brought it upon its head to hurl it upon them. But the word of the Lord forthwith prepared a reptile, which ate into the mountain and perforated it, and his head was swallowed up within it. And he sought to withdraw it, but could not, because his back teeth and his front ones were drawn hither and thither. And Moshe went and took an axe of 10 cubits, and sprung 10 cubits, and struck him on the ankle of his foot, and he fell and died beyond the camp of Israel. Thus it is written, And they smote him, and his sons and daughters, and all his people, till none of them remained to escape, and they took possession of his land. Jerusalem. And Israel dwelt in the land of the Amorites. And Moshe sent to explore Makphah, and they took the villages, and destroyed the Amorites who were there. And when Moshe saw Og, he said, Is not this Og the wicked, who taunted Abraham and Sarah, and said, They are like fairy trees by a fountain of water, but gave no fruit? Therefore the Holy One, blessed be he, hath kept him alive for many years, till the time that he should see the children's and children's children, and fall by their hands. Therefore the Lord said to Moshe, Fear him not, for I have delivered him into thy hand, and all his people and all his land, and thou shalt do to him as thou hast done to Sihon, king of the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon. Blessed be his name. I will do some thoughts tomorrow on Og and on who he is, in case you're not aware of who this giant is. Okay, blessed be his name.